Hello, Chek here. Welcome back to yet another one of my many video blogs. They're in the hundreds now, but I'm having fun sharing with you, so I'll keep them rolling as long as I can. There's a fair bit more in there yet, maybe another 10,000 or so. Today I'm going to talk about the Swiss ball reverse crunch exercise that targets the lower abdominals. I thought I'd just help you understand exactly what the lower abdominals are. Those are the muscles from your belly button to your pubic symphysis. They actually have a separate innervation. Everything above the umbilicus or belly button all the way to your sternal notch here, your xiphoid process, those are segmentally innervated. So for each section of the spine the muscles cross, there's a nerve that comes out to feed them on each side. The abdominal muscles have a lot of nerve supply, about 9 on each side, which means there's a lot of brain power going to controlling your core functions. Now, what a lot of people don't know is that in the stages of embryology where the body grows and develops, the buds of the muscles, the myoblasts that grow out into muscles from the low back, the lumbar musculature, actually when the fetus is growing and develop, migrate down into the pelvic floor area, and they become your pelvic floor muscles, and then they continue up and grow up to meet the umbilicus. So what we think of as lower abdominal muscles embryologically are low back muscles, which is the key reason that so many people that have low back problems also end up with pelvic floor dysfunction and lower abdominal dysfunction. And then the innervation to the muscles from the belly button down is the iliohypogastric and ilioinguinal nerve from the T12L1 motor segments. So they're actually on separate neurological control systems, because the muscles of the lower abdominal region are very specifically oriented towards controlling pelvic tilt, which is very important for controlling what's called sacral base inclination. Your sacrum has to change angles as you're bending, kicking, walking, and it has a lot to do with controlling the engaging and disengaging the sacroiliac joint, which would be too technical. If you're really interested in this kind of stuff, I highly recommend my scientific back training and scientific core conditioning program design courses, where I get into the muscle systems, how they work together with joints and all that stuff. But for today, I just wanted to show you a very good way to train your lower abdominal muscles and how to do that on a Swiss ball and a couple of variations, and I'll show you how to go from an easy level to a harder level. So one, you want to make sure you have a good healthy Swiss ball, not something that's been kicked around a gym or has scratches on it, because those things can pop and explode. Two, you need a good solid anchor point, like a squat rack or a cable machine. And what you want to do is position yourself on top of the ball and grab a hold so you're comfortable, and then remember the rule that the more downward the angle of your torso is, so butt towards floor, head in the air, the more load you have against your lower abdominals. If I want to make it easier, then I come this way, and if I go back this way, now gravity is actually helping me. And there's been countless numbers of patients that I've had that were so weak I actually had to put them on a decline so that gravity could assist them. People that have had spine injuries, for example. So if you start the exercise, flex your hips till you feel your pelvis beginning to roll or your low back starting to flatten. That's the starting point. You don't want to flatten the back. Just go till your hip reaches in range of motion, and from there you're going to use your lower abdominals, and you're just going to do a posterior pelvic tilt and go until your abdominals are fully contracted. Be careful not to pull your head up. Keep your head as much in neutral with your spine as you can, and then let your pelvis roll back to where it was, but let it fall, let gravity pull you into an arch so that your lumbar curve is increasing, getting bigger. As you flex your hips, you're flattening the low back. So to work the full range of motion, which is why the Swiss ball is so helpful, you're going to curl it up, and where my sacrum touches the ground, I don't want my hips to disengage, I want my back to arch, so my pelvis, if it was a big bowl, it would be tipping that way. And that gives you full range of motion training. Keep your tongue on the roof of the mouth behind your front teeth to increase the support of anterior neck stability. I can't do that when I'm talking though. Okay? Now generally you're going to want to, for just general strengthening, choose a load that allows you 8 to 12 repetitions. Unless you're doing neuromuscular reconditioning, then you're going to bring the repetitions up into the 20 or 30 repetitions per set, depending on exactly what you want to do. Now, if you want to make it harder, go down the ball. That's one way to make it harder, because now you've got to work against more of a gravitational load. And then you can extend your legs out, and the further your legs go out, the tougher it gets. Okay? Now, that is going to give you a solid workout. Never do this kind of training at the beginning of a conditioning session. You don't ever want to do stabilizer conditioning in the beginning, because if you burn your stabilizers out and you start doing lunges and squats and kettlebells and all that kind of stuff, you're highly likely to get injured because your stabilizer system is fatigued. So that's a mistake I've seen even on professional sports teams being made, and it gets me a job, which means there's problems. Now, if you want to make it a little bit more, challenging for those of you that want and are capable of and are ready for, you can decrease how much support you're getting. So here I was holding on to 2 poles that are separated. It gives me a lot of stability. But if I do the same exercise with one hand hold, now I have to balance myself a lot more. Okay, the ball wants to roll around, you see. So if you want to take it even further than that, then go to one hand. And if that's something you want to go even further, then switch hands with each rep. And that puts a little bit more coordination into it. And I'm going to stop there because I'm fried after a day with Mike Salemi in the gym yesterday. That guy could kill you, man. In a good way. So you always want to finish any abdominal conditioning by laying over the ball, giving him a good stretch, and breathing diaphragmatically to fill your belly. And get those muscles stretched out. If you don't do that, the microtrauma will heal, especially at night when you're sleeping, and the muscle will get shorter and shorter workout by workout. And the next thing you know, you can be pulled into a posterior pelvic tilt position, and the tension runs through the whole abdominal wall. It'll pull your chest down and your head forward, so you'll have the best looking, most dysfunctional abs in town. And I can't even tell you how many athletes have come to me injured with the best looking, most dysfunctional abs in town. So there's a few tips for you on some awesome lower abdominal conditioning. Start easy, build yourself up. I wouldn't do more than 1 set to start because those muscles can get quite sore. Remember, never do isolation training until after you've done your more complex moves, or you're far more likely to get hurt. And if you do, find a Chek professional. They'll straighten you out and teach you everything you need to know, and you can become a Chek professional and master this stuff and make a great living showing other people how to eat, move, and be healthy, baby. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Paul Chek. See you next time.